and holiday style. In the air, there's a feeling of Christmas. Children laughing, people passing, we smile after smile, and on every street corner you hear.
Good morning and welcome to the latest episode of Tom Talk Live. I can't believe Christmas is only 11 days away edition. I want to do a Tom Talk shout out to the Sussex County Surrogate's office. The county surrogate is elected by county voters every 5 years to qualify executors and trustees named in wills, to appoint administrators for those who pass away without a will, and to appoint guardians for minors and legally incapacitated persons. For more information on how this office can assist you on these and other important legal matters impacting you and your family, please visit SussexCountySurrogate.com today. The annual Town of Newton Christmas tree lighting was a tremendous success earlier this month, as everyone who attended enjoyed good food, music, decorations, and more. It was a great way to kick off the holiday season. The annual reorganization of the Newton Town Council will occur on Thursday, January 4th at noon at Town Hall, with refreshments to follow. In the last episode of Tom Talk Live, we had our favorite town insurance agent, risk management consultant, Keith Mitchell. Today, we continue our flagrant attempts for high ratings, social media influence, and holiday dinner with the Chiusano family by interviewing our favorite county surrogate, Gary Chiusano. Great to have you on our program here today, Gary.
Thank you, Tom. It's a pleasure and look forward to it.
Do I call you Judge Chiusano? Because you are a judge of the surrogate court.
I am judge of the surrogate court, but no, I'm fine with just being referred to as Gary, or from the legal community, they refer to me as surrogate, and I refer to them as counselor. Sure.
Excellent. All right, tell us exactly what you do for a living.
Well, you mentioned a couple things. The main thing that we do is we probate the wills. Probate means that I, as judge of the surrogate court, pass the judgment on whether that will is valid, it meets all the statutory requirements. And if there is no will in the state of New Jersey, people have always heard that in the state of New Jersey, if you die without a will, then everything goes to the state. Have you heard that?
Yes.
Okay. It's not true. What is true, however, if you die in the state of New Jersey without a will, everything is distributed according to the rules of the state of New Jersey. And those rules are the laws of intestacy. And they're really quite logical. Without getting into much detail, simply put, it was a husband and wife, and the husband predeceased without a will, everything goes to the wife, in the simple form. Of course, when there are multiple marriages and children from other marriages, that can get a little more complicated. But so we probate the wills. If there's no will, we appoint administrators. We also oversee the adoptions in the county of Sussex. And we have the minors trust fund. If a young person inherits money from a parent who passed away, or they get bit by a dog and they receive compensation as a result of a lawsuit, if that child is a minor, those funds come here, and we invest them for them, for that individual, until they turn 18. And then we oversee the appointment of guardians for people who are alleged incapacitated.
And how long have you been in this position?
Since March of 2013, when I was appointed by Governor Christie to take over for a retired Nancy Fitzgibbons, who did an excellent job, and to whom I aspire to follow in her great performance.
What did you do prior to this?
Prior to that, I was a financial advisor, and prior to that, I had international marketing experience, and I became a financial advisor in the 90s, yes.
How did your upbringing impact the choices you made with your education and career?
You know, I thought about that, and I think my dad was a policeman in West New York, New Jersey, and I always liked police work, and so I always thought I would be a policeman. And when I graduated college, the state police had a requirement of 5'9" and 20/40 vision. Well, I was 5'7.5", and my vision without contacts was like 25, so I couldn't become a state trooper. And so I wound up going to work for an oil company, Atlantic Richfield at the time, and was in their marketing department for many years. Yeah.
If you could go back in time and give advice to the 20-something version of yourself, what advice would you give and why?
Well, first of all, continue your education, whether that is at the college level or if you're going into apprenticeships in the union level. And I'm seeing more and more of that, and I respect and appreciate that. I see the students out of Sussex Tech, for example, going into the fields like electricity or construction, or medicine or nursing, what have you. And I think we need to encourage more of that. And I think we do a pretty good job of that in Sussex County. I know as a former freeholder, we all stood behind Sussex Tech School and the college, and we wanted to make the county college affordable and a lot more programs. We built the new science lab up there, the auditorium, things of that nature, all in the last 20 years. And I think we've done a great job to compete with Morris County Community College.
What do you consider to be your greatest life or career achievement?
You know, when I think back, I think my family. I mean, I think my family, good people. I think my grandchildren are good people, and I'm quite proud of every one of them.
If I could give you a do-over, what would be the one project, life decision, or choice you made that you would do over, and why?
When I graduated from college, I went to work for Atlantic Ridgefield, which I mentioned. But I had an opportunity with Atlantic Ridgefield to go to Alaska to be involved with the Alyeska pipeline at that time, bringing oil down from Alaska into the United States. And the program was something like this. I can't help me do exactly what it was like. Spend 3 months in Alaska. That might have been a pretty good gig for a couple of years. But my dad was ill after a few years, and I was glad that I came back to New Jersey to stay near him. Yes.
What was the most challenging experience you went through in your life, and how did you persevere?
I think two things. I think my parents were separated when I was very young. My mother was very ill, and my mom had to move in with her mother. I grew up in Lake Stockholm. And so when my mother left to move with her mother in Jersey City, or Union City, there's no way my brother and I were going to move down there. We were hillbillies from Lake Stockholm. And so we stayed with our father. And we grew up in a single-parent household with a father. And a little bit different than growing up in a single-parent household with a mother. You know, the father had things to do, and my brother and I probably got in a little bit of trouble. I know he used to beat me up a lot. So I think that helped me to be a better athlete. I could wrestle, because fight off my big brother made it very easy to wrestle guys my own size. And then the second thing that affected is made me a little more of a caring person, a faithful person. We have a daughter who was in a very bad accident over by Nautilus, September 13th, 1999. And many people from Newton Fire, Newton Rescue, many people from that area, they helped save our daughter's life. It took 2 hours to cut her out of the car. We were already at the hospital. And it was a horrible experience, but getting through that and seeing how the community came together and the things they did and how we survived and our daughter survived. It's not something you want to do, but it's something that you learn a lot from that.
True. If aliens landed in front of you and in exchange for anything you desired, offered you any position on their planet, what would you want and why?
I'd want to play left field for the New York Yankees. Maybe center field.
Wow.
For the New York Yankees.
Okay.
Or the Mets. And I would do it for the cost. If they only have to reimburse me for tolls and gas. I don't need $700 million. And if I'm too old and out of shape to play, then make me the commissioner of Major League Baseball.
Okay, so that's good. All right, if you had to be shipwrecked on an island, but all your human needs, former New Jersey State Assemblyman license plates, an electric vehicle for your use from the county, and an expense account at the Farmer's Daughter in downtown Newton were all taken care of, what 2 items would you want to have with you and why?
I'd want to have my family with me, and somewhere, here's my Bible.
Okay.
This Bible was a gift from Congressman Scott Garrett. So I keep that here and oftentimes refer to it as often as I have to refer to the law books, because you have to find comfort somewhere. You have to find answers, and I think about that. And maybe Kat knows better than I do. 1 Peter, I think, is where the Lord doesn't give you more than you can handle. But sometimes you say, I can't handle it anymore. But you have to, if you don't go to the book, where are you going to get help?
Where are you going
I
to
don't
go?
know.
I'm with you. Favorite cartoon?
Oh, the old classics, you know, Bugs Bunny, Looney Tunes, with the opera music and all. Yeah.
Favorite food?
That's easy. Come on, blue claw crabs. Blue claw.
Wow.
Yeah, Chesapeake Bay area, Ocean City,
Yeah, come on.
blue claw crabs, and beer with that.
It's
Gotta
okay.
have beer.
Favorite movie?
The Sting, I like The Sting.
Okay.
My cousin Vinny, I have a T-shirt that I got online. It says, what Vincent, what was his last name? Vincent, anyway, it says, representing Utes since 1992. But, you know, so many young people, they don't know the movie. So I say, hey, Utes, you know what a Ute is? They don't know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. Yeah.
That's
My cousin Vinny.
Our viewers understand. Favorite superhero?
That's easy again, an old classic, Superman. I mean, Superman would just break through buildings. I don't know who paid for all the damage he did in those people's houses
Right.
or office buildings. He'd just come in and break down walls. But the reason I love Saturday Night Live spoofs of him from years ago. You know, he puts his glasses on.
Oh, yeah.
Clark Kent. Oh, Superman.
Yeah,
They're really fool. How do you fool people with a pair of glasses? But yeah.
All right. Favorite sports team? We're going Yankees. We're going Mets. But now I'm not sure.
Well, you know what? Old San Francisco Giants. I mean, that was a team I followed. Now I can't follow teams. The players change every week, you know. But back then, Juan Marichal, Willie Mays, Orlando Cepeda.
And favorite band or musical act? What do you listen to?
So, I tend to like individuals, like Billy Joel, James Taylor, Harry Chapin's one of my favorite. In fact, the night he was killed, we were going to his concert, a free concert in Long Island. He was killed on the Long Island Expressway.
Wow.
At the time, my wife and I lived in Long Island. But Jody Messina and Linda Ronstadt were also favorites of mine.
Last but not least, our Tom Talk Top 10 question number 11. Tell us what you love about the town of Newton.
You know what I like, and that's why I call you from time to time. I walk down the street and I see the optimism of some of the people. I'm not going to mention names because if I mention one person's name, I'm going to forget somebody else. But some of the business people who try on a regular basis to keep businesses going, establishing new businesses. I know I went to a place where I got some great soups lately and some other things, but I like the fact that the people are always trying to do better in the town of Newton. There's optimism there. And there's work to be done, but there's optimism to get it done. I appreciate that. And then the second thing is just the people. I mean, you know, I've been here a long time in this county, and I still see people walking down the street. We lost in the last a couple of years some great people like Gene Conkey and Johnny Zama, some great local Newton folks, but I still see some. And recently, Larry Cron, who's a friend of mine, he was a few years older than me, but we played ball against him and all of the Cron family. So it's still nice to see some old friends from time to time at Ajax or Dominic.
Sure. All right, enough of my questions. I was curious, you mentioned about the adoptions. How many adoptions typically in the course of a year, or have you worked on? Or?
Well, we probably do in the neighborhood of 30 a year.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more than that.
Is that must be rewarding, or that must be a very interesting process from the beginning to final process for a family?
It has mixed feelings, you know, and the family court judges at the Superior Court level, those who handle domestic violence or those types of trials all the time, and then again adoption, they like it. We like it too. But adoptions are changing with what's going on in the world. Before it was, typically a younger couple weren't able to conceive on their own and they've adopted a child. Now it's people my age who are adopting their grandchildren. And it's a harsh reality because the parents are in jail or have overdosed on drugs.
Wow.
It's a sad commentary, but I don't want to sugarcoat it. It's sad what's going on there sometimes. So sometimes it's not as pretty as you'd like, but you're doing what's best for the child.
Sure.
So.
And you're dealing with issues, end of life, and then care for families and children after with the wills. And I'm curious, and this might be a tough question, but is there a case and without names, is there a case that sticks out as being very challenging or rewarding or difficult that you kind of sit back in your office maybe when the door's shut and say this is a tough one, either emotionally or just mechanically through paperwork? Is there anything that jumps out at you that?
Yeah, several jump out. And as far as emotionally, there was a case with this gentleman from Wantage, I'll say Wantage. He had lost his wife 6 months prior. And the county services, Adult Protective Services, got information that he was in need of assistance, so they went and checked up on him. And the man wasn't taking care of himself for the last 6 months. He was in bad physical shape. He didn't have a lot of money, and he had to come to court. And ultimately, he had to be placed in a nursing home for his own welfare. And that happens quite a bit. We have to take people out of the home, put them in a nursing home, and oftentimes, though, they get well and they're able to go back on their own, but sometimes they're not. And those are some sad, sad cases to see that this person has to be taken out of their home, or they won't survive.
Right.
So you have to put them in an environment where they can survive, and hopefully, when they're healthy again physically, they'll also become healthy again emotionally, and they'll be in the right place. Those are tough ones. And I have to tell you, whether it's that type of thing or just helping somebody on a minor issue, some days, if it happened last week on Thursday, it'll probably happen this afternoon. We're just burnt out and fried with the emotions of a week of this. Unclaimed bodies, we handle that.
Wow.
What's an unclaimed body? People during the course of who lose their life, falling downstairs in an alcoholic stupor, and they have no family because the family washed their hands of it years ago. Person gets hit by a car, unknown, just left there, no friend, no relatives. These are matters we have to handle. These are things we have to do.
And how do you manage the emotion of, I'm filling potholes and building dog parks, and you're dealing with that type of issue? Like, how do you emotionally manage that in the workplace and then not take it home? Or, I'm curious how
Well, you do take it home. You can't get around that. You can't get around that, But we as a group, we talk among ourselves. We have oftentimes, if I have a question, here's a case that I'm looking at. It's a lawsuit, and it's pro se, so it's a little more complicated to follow because they don't do as good a job as a professional would do. But we'll come in, we'll sit down, we'll powwow. Somebody has a bad situation, we talk it out among ourselves, and we just have to talk to each other, comfort each other. But there are some good things. I want to tell you one example. A woman up in Wantage, a municipal building, I had to contact her because we were trying to find a death certificate for someone. They had no other means of getting this death certificate. The woman in Wantage, I won't mention her name, she went in the back, went through boxes and found an old death certificate. And when I was able to tell that person that we got one, we were all so happy, but it was all because everyone else did their job along the way too. Wantage Township did their job, we did the job, and we made a very difficult situation.
Last question. So you used to have a career in politics, very successful. I'm curious if you miss any aspect of politics, or if you're like me as a recovering politician, you don't miss especially the lack of civility that's going on. Like, what do you think about politics? And general, I'm not asking for personalities, but what do you think about the world of politics and kind of your experience with it and where it is today?
I think they waste a lot of time attacking each other. I mean, that just seems to be the thing to do. And the media is not the friend of the American people. It's my opinion. The media is out to divide and destroy us. They want everybody in these silos. Okay, this is you, this is you. They don't want any unification. They want to divide. And I only think, the only thing I can come up with is they must want to divide and conquer for some reason. But the media is not our friend.
Yeah, when you were involved, it was more, and Senator Orho and everybody, there was more collaboration, and whether it was Republican or Democrat really didn't matter. It was more problem solving than.
I have a video when I left the assembly, and Assemblyman Jerry Green from Plainfield, New Jersey, he stood up, a Democrat, and he said the nicest things about me that anyone has ever said, and I think, and the main thing was, even though we fought all day long, at the end of the day, I walked across the aisle and shook hands, and he noticed that and he appreciated it. And what his comment was, that's how we all used to be, but not anymore.
Sad. Yeah. Well, thank you, Gary, for being a good sport and legendary guest on Tom Talk Live. That's a wrap, everyone. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram for further updates on Town of Newton events, happenings, and more. Happy holidays. Rousseau out.